What's going on, guys? It's Gendo here, and I'd like to welcome you to a brand new series called If I Had a Hammer, where it'll see myself taking over West Ham United. Now, the goals that I have set up in mind are short-term. I'd like to win the Premier League, because as you can see by the background, West Ham United have not won a Premier League before. In its 120-year history, either First Division, call it the Premier League, call it what you will, they have not won that title. They've won the championship twice. They've won the FA Cup three times, actually. They won the Cup Winners' Cup once. I want to say that was 1965. Yes, it was. But they have not won a Premier League. And I think, first and foremost, trying to get them to win the Premier League is top of mind. Now, currently, West Ham United are in the Europa League due to the fair play regulations, and they got themselves an entry based on that. Ultimately, I would like to give European success to West Ham as well, be it Europa League, be it Champions League ultimately, but we'll just see how far I go with that. For right now, my immediate goal is to try and do well within the Premier League and ultimately win that. Taking a look at the transfers in, as you can see, Victor Moses, Alex Song, Manuel Lanzini, and Carl Jenkinson have all come into the club, while Matt Jarvis, Sam Wesley, and Diego Poyet have all been loaned out. And then taking a look at the injuries, Andy Carroll is out for at least, or at most, 2 months with torn knee ligaments. Enter Valencia out 3 to 4 months with strained knee ligaments. And then Alex Song, the guy who apparently is loaned in, damaged knee cartilage, out 2 to 4 months. Now, I know he is one of my best players on the squad, but at the same time, I do have the option to terminate his loan. And currently, West Ham are paying £7.25 million for him, which, if I go into the contract offer window, that is more than what Barcelona are paying for him. So, first and foremost, I may think about terminating the loan of Alex Song and bringing in a lower wage, probably equal strength defensive mid, center mid. Taking a look at the rest of the squad, as you can see, I have it sorted by what the assistant manager says as best player to worst player. And top of the list is Dimitri Payet, the 28-year-old who can play out on the left wing, and then also any other attacking mid position. The 20-year-old Frenchman, as you can see, great pace and some great techniques as well. 16 first touch, 16 dribbling. He can cross it in, but I'm not going to use him as a true winger. I want to use him as an inside forward, get him to cut inside, and with his decent finishing of 13, hopefully he can bang in some goals. The next best player that isn't injured is New Zealander Winston Reid, the 26-year-old center back, looking fairly well for a player of his age and of his stature. He's 6'3", and he's got decent physicals on him. 12 acceleration, 15 pace. Strength is really good. Mentals, he's very solid in his mental abilities. And then defensively, 14 marking, 17 tackling. His positioning also a 14. He is the stalwart at the back, let's be honest. And if it's not going to be Andy Carroll sitting up front, it will be this man, Diafra Sakho, the 25-year-old, just looking great in pretty much all facets. The polygon that I see on him looks almost like Romelu Lukaku. So he has the good pace, the 13 pace, the 16 acceleration. He has the great attacking skills with a 17 finishing. He's got decent composure, decent decision makings. He's very determined. He has a very high work rate. And I see this man bagging a lot of goals, if not getting some assists, with Dimitri Payet. Payet and Sakho, I'm looking to be the 1-2 punch for West Ham, and hopefully none of them will be long-term injured, knock on wood. But of course, this being my first season of many, we can only wait and see, really. And then you have the two more holders of the back line in Aaron Cresswell and Carl Jenkinson. Here is Cresswell first and foremost. 14 pace, 14 acceleration, so he's very, very nice in the speed department, as well as defending. 14 in marking, 15 in tackling, 15 in positioning. He's got a very high work rate in 18, and I look up his technical ability, and I see a 17 in the crossing, which means he could very well be useful in the attacks, but I don't want to push the back line too far forward, maybe go as far as the midfield. But of course, formations are still work in progress at this point in time. And then we have Carl Jenkinson, the 23-year-old who's being loaned in from Arsenal. another one who is very, very pacey, although his defensive stats not looking all that solid to start. I mean, he is only 23 years old. He could get better with his age, but as of right now, probably not all that much better. 17 in pace, 13 acceleration, great stamina with 18. He's got decent mentals, and as far as his defensive ability, 10 marking, 11 positioning, and 14 tackling. He's got great teamwork ability, great work rate, so much like most of the back line, great work rate and great teamwork, so they can all work together and hopefully create a solid back line that won't allow many goals to go through. And of course, the best man in front of net is Adrian, the 28-year-old Spaniard who is 6'3" and looks fairly solid up and down the goalkeeping stats. Mentally, he's solid. He's not all that eccentric, kind of in the middle. His speed, not a lot of goalkeepers are fast with a 6 pace and 7 acceleration, but as long as he has good jumping reach, has good stamina, good strength, I don't mind too much on that. Mentally, he's got some fairly decent stats, and the other thing I look forward to is command of area and one-on-ones. I see a 14 and a 15 in both of those. Good reflexes as well with a 16 there. And he's more of a puncher than a kicker, 17 over 14. So Adrian definitely going to be my number one goalkeeper in this season. Taking a look staffing-wise, we don't have many scouts. As you can see, we only have a chief scout and a regular scout. I'd like to try and bring in more scouts just so we can, scout more leagues, scout more nations. At the very least, scout our next opponent. But the whole purpose of me wanting more scouts is to try and look for youngsters to help come through our academy. Over on the normal coaching side, you have myself, of course, and then a coaching staff that Slaven Bilic has left over. Of course, he was the manager of West Ham to start this before I took over. I'm not too keen on releasing a lot of these just yet. I want to see how they perform. So you have like Nikola Jurcevic, the assistant manager. You have Julian Dix. You have Edin Terzic, Miljanko Rock, Eamon Swift, Chris Woods, Terry Westley as the coaching staff. So I'm going to see how well they do, and if something is going to go wrong on the coaching side, I may swap one out for someone else. And then, of course, we have 3 physios. That seems to be pretty standard. As well as the coaching staff or the coaching team stuff, we're pretty much around average in most of aspects, except for fitness and goalkeepers, but I'm not too worried about that at this point in time. Looking at what we're spending on for wages, we are currently spending just a tad under £60 million per year on the squad, with the board allowing us only £62 million to spend overall. Now, if I get rid of the loan of Alex Song and his £7.25 million wage, I'm going to look to try and turn that around into bringing in, either signing or loaning, someone just like Alex, a defensive mid, center mid hybrid, for obviously less money. Alright, competitions-wise, this is what we see. Of course, Premier League, the board expect us to finish around mid-table, so somewhere between 11th and 9th. The FA Cup, the board expects us to get the 5th round. They expect us to reach the 4th round in the Capital One Cup, and the board say don't be outclassed in the Europa League. Of course, we start in the first qualifying round, and to be quite honest with you, with a team like West Ham, I'm going to slowly introduce the more senior players as the rounds progress, because against Lusitans right now in this first qualifying round, there's going to be a lot of youth players getting some play time, but I am going to still put up Sacco, Payet, maybe Quixote, just to have a little bit of senior presence amongst the youth, because I don't want to be shocked like West Ham were in real life against, I believe it was AFC Astra, in the 3rd qualifying round. So I want to try and make the group stage. The group stage is what I'm targeting in the Europa League at this point in time. I feel it is a realistic expectation, and then if we get past that, then we'll just take it one match at a time. But for right now, while the boards say don't be outclassed, I expect us to reach the group stage. And taking a look at the schedule, this is how everything's going to lay out. As you can see, first qualifying round of the Europa League starts tomorrow on the 2nd of July, where we face off against Lusitans, first away and then home. And then as we progress into each round, It'll be the following week, and so on and so on, until we get the start of the Premier League, where our first match will be against Everton at the Boleyn Ground. And since the Premier League is going to be the main focus of this first season to try and better the squad and better the reputation domestically, I think when I come back in the next episode, we will double live count the first 2 matches of the Premier League. So it would be at home versus Everton, and then away to West Bromwich Albion. In that time, I'll look to have made a few signings, a few transfer ins, outs, loan ins and outs, as well as develop a pretty solid squad, which hopefully by the time we start the actual league, we are still within the Europa League. So we won't know until we come back for that Everton match on how we've been faring in the Europa League, but I have a hunch we're going to do a lot better than our real-life counterparts. So that's it for this episode. I just want to use it as an introductory to show you what the squad is looking like, how everything is set up here, what our expectations are, and hopefully we can be able to meet and or exceed those expectations. So until the matches between Everton and West Brom, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new and you want to see more FM content. Any comments, questions, suggestions, anything else, please leave in the comment box below. But as always, this is Gendo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and peace out.